Oh. Let's try to actually turn it on. This has been. And let's try to see what could be done. Do you want to actually go to New York Times now? Yeah, I'd like to. Obituaries, why? Investors fear 1 billion IPO registration could haunt Casper, Cecile, and a business as a mattress giant. Right now, Casper actually decides to go public, even despite such a troublesome financial scenario. It has been staying in red ink for so many months. Its own the stability in terms of financial performance demonstrates such a checkered records for so many months. That's really the reason why investors actually, have such a fear that this would actually create a backfire to hunt the investment or even actually future prospects as a mattress seller and producer whose name is Casper. In case you actually drop by the local furniture store, you would actually see this Casper with a yellow label. Casper is that company who has been producing mattress, comfy and flexible, soft mattress, right? But the problem is, this reckless and a risky trial by venturing into the actual stock market, by registering or even IPOing, this would actually create, such consequences by actually making things much speculative, right? So they actually worry that with this kind of a lessened stability in the financial records, as its own history has been somewhat checkered with the debts, the high indebtedness, that's one of the reasons why people actually fear that this kind of venture would cause a greater challenge that should be undertaken by Casper. Investors fear a 1 billion IPO registration. Uses actually just simply IPOing, going public. This would actually involve many risky intrigues that could actually overthrow the stability of the industry. That could actually be possibly predicted by the well-seasoned investors. That's what has been said. I don't really need to think about it, Casper. I've never actually purchased anything from it, but if you actually go to local furniture store and even department store, you would actually see this Casper with a yellow tag on it. I saw it because the last time when my sister actually somehow prepared her own future house, she actually wanted to prepare for her future house by actually filling her house with the furniture, getting her future house furnished. Somehow I actually, tumbled to this specific brand that I've never even heard of while I was just roaming around. I really like to actually check out many different products and recently introduced into the market. That's my habit. If you actually saw me, you would actually notice that I would constantly actually nosing into the new market products newly unleashed into the market, right? That's what I really like to do. Iran's green economy limits its willingness to confront the United States. As you have already actually known this, you have been actually, tracking this down. Iran has been for so many years already riddled with the mire of sanctions imposed on it, right? Because of this, the economy experiences significant devastation that should actually be overthrowing its own stability in the domestic market. There is no stable economy going on. this economic underperformance somehow handcuffs its own audacious belligerents to stand up against the United States, even in the wake of this type of challenges. Donald Trump yesterday somehow mentions this before, saying that Iran somehow is standing down. It's actually winding up its own efforts to go against the Western forces. But one of the fundamental reasons why Iran experienced a significant setback by pulling off its own belligerent and bellicose aggressivity at this moment is likely to be the reason that could be found in its own economy. Because its underperforming economy somehow tightens up a noose around its own neck. Its own economy is really the worst enemy that could actually limit and stunt the actual growth of anti-American sentiment that could be substantiated with the military actions taken by Iran. Right now, what could actually be an appeaser that would actually placate the anger and the fury of Iran would actually be its own less performing or a gloomy economy. Green means a gloomy and a bleak and a green economy. If you ever want me to provide additional, then I would actually say the green means similar to bleak. The Bleak House by Charles Dickens. Bleak means somewhat gloomy, because it's been clouded with such a murky issue, as it experiences such shadowy phases. For that reason, its own worst enemy within, its own economy, less performing and gloomy and clouded with the murkiness. That's one of the reasons why Iran somehow is forced to placate its own anger. Swallowing it's a bitter pill. This is not bittersweet. It's absolutely bitter. It's not bittersweet. Das ist nicht bittersüßig, weil dieser schmerzhafte und sehr bitter. Wie Quälerei. Ja, das würde. Quälerei ist, ja, wirklich. Das würde untergenommen werden. By Z, yeah. Because of this, prediction looks so gloomy, and adding another sanctions that had already actually been imposed wouldn't notify very torturous phase for Iranian people, which could truly undermine the stability, not just the economy, but undermine the sanctity of its own political and religious system. Because the Ayatollah's own hierarchy can be challenged if people ever decide to take themselves to streets and vent out their anger, to go against and withstand its own suppressive and oppressive government and regime. As more and more people feel pinch kicking in. Feel the pinch means you actually feel tightened because of such challenges thumping you down in the wake of another sanctions levied on them. Then this would be challenging, right? Even more and more people feel the pinch to be tortured and tormented because of the economic depression and sanctions that would constantly challenge their proper way of living. Then the actual fury would be directly targeted to the actual regime power player, the ruling body. Then people might actually want to overthrow it, just they had it done already in 1978, the Iranian Revolution. You actually remember that was really the last time the country named Iran actually had a kingdom, right? So you know what? If that could be done once, why not for the second time? Because right now those protesters have a very powerful supporter behind one's back, the United States, even though the United States clearly signifies that they had no intention, the U.S. authorities have no intention of supporting the actual regime change in an overthrow of the current political system. However, who knows what could happen, right?